Taylor Guitars giveth and taketh away and give it again with a new 314 CE Studio. It's a great value. We're going to tell you why, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom swag. Check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, and see if you can get your voice lower than Cooper's in some YouTube response.
How's it going, guys?
So we've got the new Taylor 314 CE Studio model in the studio today. And the overall arching story about this guitar, I would say, is that what I said at the onset. Taylor gives, takes, gives, and then it's less money. So there's a lot of pluses to like about this guitar. We're going to break it down for you. But it is a new model in the 300 series lineup.
Yeah, there ain't no plus in the model name. It's Studio, which that's a new thing for Taylor, right?
Yep.
There's never been a Studio before.
Nope.
Everybody else working with Studios, and they change them all the time. Looking at you, Gibson. What is a Studio? All right. But Taylor's got the Studio now. And usually when we make a video, it's done before the launch of something. And so we don't know what response is going to be. However, I have seen response on this guitar already online.
Yeah.
And I think it's very mixed. And I think we can clear up some of the misconceptions maybe that people have about this guitar.
Let's do it.
It's a guitar, so there you go. And it is in the 300 series, which means American-made, all solid wood, and the 314, as we know it, 314 CE. Right now, I think is $24.99 or $25.99.
I think it's more than. I think it's like $27.99.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, it's been pushing the upper limits on the
so
normal
314 previously, I guess before the American Dream, was like the entry, always entry into the American guitars, all solid wood, very popular guitar. This is a new option that is priced less, pretty significantly less, I guess, than what we know as the 314 CE.
$19.99 is the price of the new 314 CE Studio. And like Cooper said a minute ago, it is still made in the US. It is still featuring all solid wood construction. But like they did with the American Dreamline, I think they took some lessons from that, and they have done some things to streamline the manufacturing of this guitar. If you are a fan and you subscribe to this channel, then you know that usually what I will tell you is the only way to make a guitar cheaper most of the time is to make it quicker to build. Time's literally money in a guitar factory. And so that's what they've done here. But at the same time, they've introduced options on this that are not options that are otherwise available on the 314 CE. So you want to go with what's on the top first?
So on a regular 314 CE, Sitka spruce. Also Sitka spruce, but torrefied Sitka spruce.
Been terrified.
Absolutely terrified Sitka spruce. So you could have inferred that by the darker color, but this is maybe not the case on all of them. That's a gorgeous top. Chris pointed that out earlier. Just the, we're talking medullary lines.
Medullaries everywhere.
Days.
Silking to be silked.
Yeah, silking. This on the Silk Road, actually. So torrefied Sitka spruce top. Still V-class bracing on the inside. Nothing's changed on the inside of the guitar. As you can see, on a normal 314 CE, black plastic binding, you'll see no binding, but you'll see chamfered edges and kind of this reveal binding type thing. Right.
The purfling's been put so that you have the appearance of binding, something that's been popular in electric guitars for a long, long time.
Yeah. So there you go. Back and sides, still sapele, just like the 314. However, this is glossed.
Yep. Top is glossed. Back and sides are glossed.
Back and sides on 314C would be satin. This is all gloss guitar, spruce, sapele, but torrefied, and looking good. Chamfered edges. 1 11/16 inch nut width.
Yep, so you've got your mahogany neck, and it's moved to 1 11/16 inch nut. So typically everything in the US line has been 1 3/4. Everything that's been made in Tecate has been 1 11/16 by default. And the 1 11/16 on a US made guitar has been a standard model option, off and on, kind of moving around. So we've had a lot of requests over the years for particular guitars to be made with the narrower nut. For those of you who prefer that, that's now an option in the US line with this guitar. You also have a change of inlay pattern on this to the simple dot inlays, which is kind of harkening back to the older 314s. And I really like it because, once upon a time when the 314 CE first came out, it was made to be the most affordable US-made Taylor that Taylor could produce. And it was made with sapele and spruce and dot inlays and all of those things to get it in at that price point. And as everything with inflation and costs of building have gone up, the 314 has gone up with it. And so this effectively brings it back in line with where it used to be.
Yeah.
And represents a huge value, but also a big question for people. Because up until this point, there was kind of this area in Taylor's lineup. You had 200 series deluxe models, like a 224 CE deluxe, really at that price point.
Yeah.
And you had American Dream models kind of in that price point, leading to the 300 series. So you could kind of move pretty close in either direction, but you really had to pay more to get a US made guitar. The 300 series, you don't anymore. It's right there for you at $2,000. You want to talk about what else has changed?
This guitar does not come with a hard shell case. It comes with a gig bag.
Comes with a structured Taylor gig bag, so not the Aero case, not the hard shell case, the gig bag that you would typically see on like a 100 series, similar to what comes with the GS Mini. And I would say outside of the Aero case, probably one of the better gig bags that's available in the market, period.
But it feels like that's what most people have latched onto on the online discourse.
Is that it doesn't? Well, here's the thing. I mean, you can get a hard shell case from Taylor for about, I think it's $299, $250, somewhere in there.
Less. I think it's
for a hard shell.
I thought it was $199. I could be wrong. Check our website. I'm sorry.
Either way, I mean, the Aero cases are also available. So if you wanted to get an Aero case or a hard shell case and you paid the extra money to do so, it's still less expensive than I think where most of the 314s are, and where most of the lines have been going. Also, if you compare it to what's available from a lot of manufacturers at $2,000, everything's been kind of moving to gig bags. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of that. I'm just aware of it. Like that's the situation.
Oh, it's happening. But regardless of your opinion of the case, I think it's hard to argue that this is not a great looking guitar.
It's great. I prefer the all gloss.
It's gorgeous, and I love the darker kind of torrefied top look. I think it looks... I don't think this is always the case, but I think on something like this with the gloss and kind of the tasteful appointments, it looks a little bit more premium to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way it looks, and I like the way it sounds. It sounds like a Taylor 300 series, but you do get a little bit more of the sort of played-in warmth, I think, from the torrefied top.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that really prefer a 1/11/16, you're gonna be right at home with this. Previously, it was small upcharge and like a 90 to 120 day wait to get something standard with a different nut width. Now this is available, and for the time being, there's still a 314, and so you can pick your favorite. It's not like something's going away. For now, we got a couple options. You can get something a little bit less, but all gloss, nice looking top, and narrower nut, or you can stay with the tried and true. There's options, but take a listen.
All right, so there you have it. Personally, I think we're in agreement. The guitar has a bit more warmth to it. It's a bit more resonant because of the torrefied top that's being used here. It's very comfortable with the chamfered edges.
Mhm.
Yes, it goes without binding, but you still have the wonderful aesthetic there. And if I could choose between binding or the feel of this corner, I would probably go with this, just as a guitar player. Visually, people can argue, but that's why it's called a studio. I think studio often invokes the idea that a musician who's playing in the studio cares more about what the guitar is doing than how the guitar looks. And so that's why you see it.
Yeah.
Gibson goes without binding and stuff.
Yeah.
You get the same kind of guitar at the end of the day. So we did double check in the break. It's $24.99 for a 314 CE. So I was just getting ahead of inflation there. So you're saving about $500.
Yeah.
The case on its own was
$299.
$299. So for $299, you could get the hard shell case. You're still coming in less than what a normal 314 will cost. And then here's my hot take. I've said this for a long, long time. I don't like a gloss top with satin back and sides.
Yeah.
Give me all satin or give me all gloss. To me, it's this thing left over from like the 90s where a guitar that was moving up in price would give you like gloss top, satin back and sides. Taylor did it. I think Martin did it. Larrivee did it. It was like this thing, and I never was a fan of the mixed thing.
Yeah.
So that's just me. If you like it, that's cool. So
it's your choice. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I dig it. I think they did a good job. And the main takeaway to me, yes, it sounds good, but I really like the look of this guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for people that are looking at a Taylor 300 series, a lot of times they're in between 200, 300, something kind of in between with some of the American Dream type stuff. And this makes it a little more affordable, but I think provides arguably a better looking guitar and something that has a lot of value. We love wood binding, and the reveal binding with the chamfered edges that they do gives you the look of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's never going to, peel off on you. So that's a nice thing.
Good call. Yeah, I like this guitar. I think it's preferable for me. I think it has a huge value. Is like you're getting a U.S. made all solid wood guitar from Taylor with all the features that you really need for $2,000. And I could see people that don't want to take something very precious out when they gig, going with this instead. The gig bag is a great option in that particular case. In fact, we've had some people, like with the Aero cases came out, buying more expensive guitars and saying, I don't want the case, I want an Aero case instead. Because it just depends upon what your use case is. So all in all, I mean, again, just the fact that this has a torrefied top, which otherwise isn't available except on the 50th anniversary models, is a big upgrade. So that's my take on it. I usually prefer the wider nut, but I could get used to this if I'm saving myself some money. So
there we go.
So we need to hear what the rest of the internet, particularly you, feel about this guitar. Now, you can, of course, vote with your pocketbook, but you can also let us know in the comments below. Do you think this is a good move on Taylor's part, and would you like to see them do this with other models? Because I could see them doing that. One of the things that I do think Taylor needs to guard against, and this is true of every manufacturer, is getting a little too confusing in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
So as of right now, where this sits, we have a 314 CE Studio, a 314 CE, a 314 CE 50th anniversary, which will be going away. And then we have 314 CE Builders Editions in two different finishes that are anniversary models as well.
Not to mention, there's another finish to this guitar, too.
Yeah, so there's another finish
There's
to this
a burst
guitar.
of that guitar.
And that also doesn't include adding all of the hardtop versions of the 300 series up. So there's a lot to sort through. And I could see this being an option with some other tonewood combinations and so forth. But also, I think it's got to make sense. So let us know in the comments what you think, what you'd like to see them do. And here's a big one. I think if you had the money, would you go for this, made in the USA, all gloss, all solid, with a torrefied top? Or would you go for a made in Mexico 224 CE Coa Deluxe with a hard shell case? Because I think that's probably going to be the biggest comparison that people will have to do if they're looking at Taylor. So let us know in the comments. If you want more information about this guitar and you'd like to purchase it, you can go to our website, which is
AlamoMusic.com. We got the natural top version. Burst top versions are on the way. So if you love the way that one looks in the stock photos that Taylor's provided, you can pre-order it, but they should be here anytime. And it's a nice, we're filming this the day before Thanksgiving. It's coming out right after Thanksgiving. But if you're looking for a guitar for Christmas time, that's not a bad option. So you can look on our website and see where you can get one.
Yeah. If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, and we'll see you next time.